I need a new computer. Oh, boy.
What you need?
I need new headphones. I need money.
Hey!
The curiously strong mint. There's nothing curiously strong about these. Altoid. Where's that fucking dog? Is that here? Get your fucking dog out of here. I'm trying to record.
Boo-doo, boo-doo-doo. I was doing the song version.
What was that?
That was our song. Doo-doo.
That was our theme?
Yeah.
You like our theme?
I do. I love it. It's upbeat enough, but it's also chill.
Contemplative?
Yes. Contemplative.
Contemplative. Shut up.
Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
There's a dog. I'm sorry. I don't want this thing barking as we're trying to do this. This beast.
I can't hear it.
There's a beast out there. It's distracting me. Who is a dog? People
in New York.
Well, we've talked about that in the judging episode. Go back and listen to that. My name is Greg Russ.
And today's topic is, it's my choice.
It is your choice.
But it was a very, it was a team effort.
Don't put this on me.
It was no, I'm not saying because it's bad. I'm saying because
do you know what
helped me sort of decide what our topic should be.
This shows me that you're not confident in the topic that you're picking. So in case this goes to shit, you're gonna say, "Hey, it was both of us. It wasn't just me."
That's your glass. No, that's your glass half empty. Because I'm thinking it's a good topic, and so we should share in the product of this discussion.
Yeah, I'm really showing my support for you. I should, no matter what the topic is, it's like we rise together, we fall together.
That's right.
That's the way I should approach it. I'm like, that was Autumn.
Just in the beginning, I'm going to preface this that it was all Greg's idea, but only if it was a bad show. And then if it's a good show, then it was mostly mine.
What was my support with it? I like that we're building up the tension too. People want to know what the topic is. Even though if you're downloading the podcast, it's already been listed. So there's no
suspense.
There's no reveal here. But I think my support, you said I gave you the support and help you to decide. Yeah. And you said, should we do this as a topic? And I said, sure, whatever you want to do. That was
well, I said one of the topics I said, I don't remember what it was. And you got really, you had no, you didn't say much about it. And then you said the topic we're going to talk about. And then you sent me this long text.
I started ranting.
Yeah, you started ranting. And so I thought that meant that it was good. But then you seemed like maybe it was, I got the idea that maybe it was too much for you and that you were going to be too angered by it. And so I said, do you want us to push that one to another time? You're like, nope. I mean, whatever you want.
We're going to do it. All right. So today's topic is
money.
So you're thinking about money.
Yes, I'm thinking about money.
Money is on the mind. It's always on the mind.
Cha-ching!
The great stressor.
But also maybe the great reliever.
Yeah, possibly. It shouldn't have that much.
It's a double-sided coin.
It shouldn't have that much power. Is it going to be a whole show of money puns? Because if so, I think we're going to need to make a change to the topic.
I'll tell you what, I'll send you that bill.
I don't even know if that makes sense.
Nope, it didn't. I just needed to say it.
All right, that's enough.
Hold on, let me look at my list and check off one of these topics.
I'm going to hold you accountable.
Hey, this is going to be a good episode. You can bank on it.
All right, that's enough. I've had my
never
fill.
Enough.
Yes.
Okay, money. I started this year by saying it was the year of money.
That's how you set up your year?
Yeah.
I don't like where you are in your headspace, but continue.
Not in a
This is going to be the year of money. And
not in a money grubbing way, but I'm going to focus on not just myself, but just people making money. Let's go. Let's find out ways to monetize something. Not in a selfless, scrappy, do whatever you can, but I wanted to put my head into Radio Labyrinth, into my personal life, into even our show. Even so, I'm not thinking about money with our show. I'm thinking about what we're doing and trying to make it good and
which is
keeping it.
Yeah, we can get into that more.
Yeah.
Which is why I've never even thought about trying to find a way to make money with this show yet.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about
I feel like our show has not more integrity, but I want to build the integrity of our show before I start thinking about money, because that's what I'm saying. I'm not just like doing whatever I can to make money. It's just I want to put my head in a money state of mind so that if there's an opportunity for it, then I want to take it. So I came to Atlanta and I tap danced in front of the sales team of WSB asking for not sponsorships,
endorsements. Let's just set this whole thing up, because there could be someone listening somewhere who has no idea what the hell else you do.
Okay.
So Radio Labyrinth is another podcast.
Right, with Tim Andrews.
And Tim Andrews is also on the Von Hessler Doctrine, which is a radio show that you're a part of in Atlanta on WSB. So you went to the WSB sales team in Atlanta. You live in the no man's land between DC and Baltimore.
Yep.
And you went to Atlanta and you put on a show for these people because you wanted to score some endorsements.
Right.
You wanted to promote some products on the air and steal them away from another woman who hasn't been on the air in a very long time. Well, I guess she has a weekend show.
I think she has a Sunday show.
Well, that's just there to keep her name, whatever.
Yeah. She has so there's I'm really the only other woman on WSB not doing the news, besides this other person. And she has every other commercial is her, which is wonderful. But also maybe there's a little room at the table for me. So I wanted to let the salespeople know that who I am and what I'm into or what I like and whatever. So I needed to come to Atlanta to do that. I also got with Tim Andrews and tried to zhuzh up his Patreon page, trying to get that show to make more money. Therefore, he can give me some of that money, which he started doing. And I don't know, I forget some other. Oh, I talked to somebody else about how that they can make money doing something, and it had nothing to do with me working on it with them. It was just, hey, you know what's a good idea is this, and that, and then you can charge for it, blah, blah, blah. And so I just feel like my head is in money. And I don't believe in this bullshit, but I kind of secreted it because I was thinking in that way about money. And Travis is going to be getting a new job that's going to be giving him his true salary, which is more than what he makes now because he's on a fellowship. So he has this big chunk of money, but he needs it to last for like 3.5 years. So he had to sort of divvy it out, spread it thinner so that it could last longer. And so he's not really receiving his true salary, what he should be making. But his new job will be giving him his true salary plus a little bit more. And the money that is left over for another 2.5 years, he can front load that. So we'll have a lot more money to sort of play with every month. And Ellie's starting kindergarten this year. So that's another like $250 whatever dollars extra a week that we're going to get. So and then I got, just letting it all out now, I got a debt consolidation loan. So all our credit cards are at zero. And so everything's, and I'm paying half of what I was paying to 4 credit cards instead, and I'm only paying it to one thing. It's all so much more manageable. It's going to be even more manageable.
But you realize you just ran through this whole list of money and how it's having an effect on your life, and that is the reason I despise money. I cannot stand it. It is a stressor. And let me just set this up to begin with. People like to throw out there, well, what other ideas you have? What's a better way? I don't know. I don't think there is a better way. This is the best that we could do. And I can still say that I don't like it. Doesn't mean I need to have a solution. It also doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and completely whine about it, because this is the framework of our existence and I will work within it. And what I think really I don't like about money is what it brings out in people. So in essence, what I'm saying is it's people I don't like ultimately.
We already know that.
Yeah, but
it's not what it brings out in people. It is what it can bring out in people.
It brings out in a lot of people the worst, I think, because money is power. Whether or not you view it that way, it is. You have a lot of money, you have power, and quite often the people who get a lot of money and therefore get that power are people who are willing to backstab, they're willing to manipulate, they'll shit all over other people. And these are not really the people you want with power, and not everyone. Look, I'm making umbrella statements, and just like all of people, there's bad people and good people. So I'm not saying anyone who has money, anyone who's rich is a bad person, but I'm saying quite often this is the pursuit. This is what people want. They want money. Money is some kind of status symbol. Money sets you apart from other people. Oh, I have money. I'm better than you. I don't buy into that. I think that's BS. And
But don't you think a lot of other people feel that same way? People don't think the majority of people don't think that just because someone has more money that they're better than them. There are people who do think that, but not.
There are people who think that, and then they're motivated by that, and then they're the people who get the money, and then they're the people in power.
Right. Maybe.
Again, is there a better way? Like in terms of an economic system, bartering ain't gonna work. That's goofy. What would we do? Trade this podcast?
Yeah, I could make bread. Make treats for people.
I mean, you making bread is actually more viable than like, what do I do? No, I'll give you this podcast if you give me that gallon of milk.
You could edit something for someone.
Sure. I guess. The grocery store. I just keep thinking of food because you got to find ways to get food.
Yeah.
It's like, what can I exchange for food? I'll make you this video that promotes your fresh produce. Please, now give me some apples.
Yeah, apples on sale.
You know, in terms of economic systems, and I think on the von Hessler doctrine, it's promoted that I'm anti-capitalist, which, no, there are flaws in capitalism. I do actually believe that capitalism and its as a system has allowed upward mobility for more people than any other system. It's just when it runs wild, it evolves, corporatism takes over, big corporations now are owning everything. The fact that Disney has bought almost everything you can think of in terms of media, like, is their voice now. They're the ones who have access to us. And we don't really have as much of a choice as we used to. And, you know, at that point, it does become about, I mean, there's so much money involved with it. I think with corporations, one of the things that really bothers me is it's always about the bottom line, especially publicly traded corporations. You have shareholders. Every year we have to show shareholders that there's growth. If there's not growth, things aren't going well. Someone like Disney, I don't know what their profits are. Billions, I assume.
Yeah.
So this is just me making something up. $20 billion. Oh, last year we made $20 billion. This year we only made $19.75 billion. And then, the shareholders lose their minds. Got to show constant growth. Always got to be growth. There's got to be growth. Well, my investment. And then, so what do? Oh, we got to find ways to make more money. So they cut corners. They fire people. They treat employees like shit. And this is...
Yeah, that's how... But you know what? That's how Pixar was created. Because Disney was moving away from animators, and those animators went over to Pixar. And then Pixar was purchased by Disney.
I know. They just came back because they've got so much power because there is so much money involved.
Right.
And this, capitalism in its truest sense, competition amongst family-owned businesses, smaller businesses, people just trying to make a living. I don't see any problem with any of that.
Well, because there are no... Yeah, because a lot of these smaller, I guess, things, and maybe some big corporations do have, like a business ethics or do have a principle, that if they're going to do something and they're going to be making all this money, they're also going to make sure that, I don't know, their stuff is fair trade, or they're going to, not, maybe they would use a space that's for lease and not tear it down and build something. You know what I mean? Like there are some places that have that, but it's not required for them to have that. And so that's when shitty businesses start to get big and bother us. And,
you're supposed to be able, as a consumer, to have checks on businesses you don't like. You don't like their price point. You don't like the way they conduct business, how they treat their employees, whatever your cause is. If they're not matching it, you're supposed to be able to go somewhere else. But we're getting to the point. And then, maybe this doesn't necessarily tie into money because I am taking it to this very large macro level.
Yeah.
But you don't have as many choices. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to buy from you, but you have your hand in everything. Here's a company I had no clue that you had your hand in, but you really do. You own it.
I always think about Walmart because my aunt always said that she would never shop at Walmart. And there are people who are kind of, on the lower end of a, economic spectrum or something. And they have a job where they need, I always thought about this. They need a job where they need non-slip shoes. And the only place that's either close enough to get to or even sells them, because I don't even think Target sells them, but you'd have to go to the Walmart. And so even if you are someone who's maybe a little broke and you have a principle that you're trying to live by not supporting something like Walmart because of whatever you think, you don't really have a choice. Like, you have to get rubber, non-skid shoes for your job, and you have to go get them. And where are you going to get them? You have to go to that Walmart.
Yeah, you do what you have to do. Walmart, I think these days, is actually trying to change their image. I don't know about their culture enough to know if they're changing it from within. But it does seem like with online retail, that was the only thing that was able to touch Walmart. Because Walmart was so big in communities, they would come in and they would just open their superstore, and then the rest of the small shops would shut down. And they had that much power.
Or they were in a place and they abandon it and build a super center 2 miles down the road.
Because
and
before
then that shopping center dies.
Yeah, because before it was just a normal Walmart.
Right.
But now we got to get the groceries in there and the auto repair and yes, everything. The eye doctor.
The Subway. Ugh.
So,
I hate the ones with a Subway in them. Because I hate the smell of Subway.
I was going to say it stinks up the whole store.
Yeah.
The
Subway sandwiches taste how Subway restaurants smell. They all taste exactly like that smell. It's disgusting.
So with Walmart, though, with the negative press and with, the negative press wasn't enough alone. It was, I think, the loss of profits with Amazon, which, there's plenty of things wrong with Amazon and the sheer size. Again, it's a tough... Do you blame someone for building a business that big? I guess not.
No.
If you're but once you get there, it's what you do with that power and all that money that I think matters. But we can get back to this. I think you had an initial point just talking about money and how it applies to your life.
Yeah,
I
think that money can be something that is a stressor. I think, like you said, I think it can be something that could be this, like, maybe it's like a devil and an angel, right? More money, more problems.
You should write a rap song about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about it. Money can't buy you happiness, but it can really help some things. Not your internal happiness, but it can take some pressure off of you, which can kind of make your life a little easier.
So
it's not going to save your marriage. It's not going to save a relationship between you and a parent. It's not, you know what I mean? But it is going to make things just like a little easier.
If you have a superficial spouse, it could save your marriage. You're not buying me enough gifts.
Right.
And then you can buy the gifts. But as you say, it can buy you happiness. And I don't disagree that money surely can help in that department. But is it really buying you happiness, or is it just alleviating negative pressure on your life when you have money? So it's
that's what I'm saying.
It's not really even getting
because
happiness.
You can afford the great vacation with your spouse, but when you get there, you're still going to hate your spouse.
Oh yeah, if anything, it'd make it worse. Money buys you the vacation, and then you're there on the vacation. You can't stand the person, but you're trapped with them,
right?
In a different city or a different country, and what are you going to do? It's like, we just got to get through this thing.
And then that is also about yourself too, because we talked about in that other episode where you're still you. So even though you have maybe success that comes with the money, or money comes with the success, I don't know, then you're still you. Like, all of the things are easier. You can buy anything you want. You can go anywhere you want. You can do anything you want, but you're still like this sad, depressed
What episode?
piece of shit.
What episode did we talk about this?
I don't know. Didn't we talk about like you're still
I'm sure we did. I just want you to, we got to treat this like online publishing. If you write an article, you got to link to 60 other articles in that article.
Right. Or like a Wikipedia page at the bottom.
Yeah, to get as many clicks as possible. So if we reference another
I think it's in our grocery store episode.
Yeah, go listen to that one. And if it's not the grocery store, make sure to listen to Vanity.
Yeah, maybe it's hotels.
Yeah, it's in one of those. Listen to them all.
So yeah, I feel like that's all I wanted, was just to alleviate some of the pressures, because like I feel like your kids don't cost you a ton of money until they get older. It's when they get older when all of a sudden it's like you got to spend all this money on their clothes. At first you get lots of donations, right? Like you get hand-me-downs from people. People are buying you stuff because they're babies and they're cute or whatever. But as they get older, it gets harder and harder to get hand-me-downs unless you keep like a network up. And then daycare starts happening, and that's fucking crazy expensive. And then like you got to start entertaining them. You got to take them places.
Yeah, Chuck E.
And
Cheese.
everywhere you go, this
What are
not a park.
What are the tokens that Chuck E. Cheese cost these days?
So that's the other thing. You got to go online. You got to get the coupons for Chuck E. Cheese. You got to go on days where they're like double points, shit like that. And if you don't, then you're just spending, like, money just flies out of you sometimes. So, and then grocery shopping, they get older and they start eating everything. It's not just like, here's a little breast milk and a couple of little things that I give you off my plate. I mean, it's like, especially Pete, he'll eat. It depends on if they're growing, like sometimes if they're not growing, they don't eat shit. And then other times if they're growing, they eat your dinner and theirs. It's crazy. And so yesterday, Ellie ate 4 peaches. I think we had like 6 total.
And are you buying the organic peaches?
No.
Yeah, too much money. Give her those.
Well, too much money and
give her those
Shut
pesticides and those chemicals.
I also say shut up to organic. Shut up.
It doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me either.
The people who buy organic avocados, which, if even
It can't penetrate that thing.
yeah, the avocado, there's no reason.
The bananas too.
Exactly.
And oranges.
You're not eating
strawberries. Maybe.
Well, you're also eating the outside of the strawberry. You're eating the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's another money-making scam.
Yeah. Fake. I love things that like are in a. You can always tell healthy things are healthy by like they're not shiny packaging. They're like a matte. Like if you buy chips and they're supposed to be like sea salt, olive oil, then they're like a matte bag instead of that shiny like wavy Lay's wavy.
Yeah, there's the sheen to those.
Right, and then stuff that's
classier to have
when stuff that says it's gluten free when it's like no shit it's gluten free like ice cream. Gluten free.
Well, this is because
it's 5 cents more because it's gluten free. Fuck you.
Because the ultimate goal is to make as much money as possible, and getting in. I'm gonna go back to corporations again, but
okay.
The people rail against. We don't have to go too deep into it, but the people who rail against big pharma, I think it's a valid argument because these are companies that are in the business of healthcare, and you have products that can help better people's lives and save lives in instances, and ultimately, it just comes down to making as much money as possible. You could still make unbelievable amounts of money that you can't even fathom, but it's not enough. Got to get more. And people's lives are at risk, or their well-being is at play. And I think these are the moments that people look at, and when money becomes the end-all, be-all. That
when a medication is $400 without insurance.
Yeah, and
you're saying you don't feel like it should be that expensive.
I know that there's much more to this process that I don't understand, that there are people who have to invent the drugs and then the research into the drugs and all just getting it through the government, approved by the FDA. And I understand all that, but it does seem like money grab is the ultimate play here. It's like, we need to get as much as possible. More, gimme more money. So again, just reiterating, it's not necessarily money. I don't know a better system, and they're positive. Look, I want to be somewhat positive about it. I know that if you work hard, and money can be a nice reward for that. It can be a way for you to look at what you're putting into your work and saying, well, maybe I'm doing a good job. This is nice. Thank you for rewarding me. There are certainly positive things that can come out of money. But it's very hard for me to get past looking at people who view it as a status symbol, as a way to gain power, as a way to put other people down. And again, I know not everyone does this. I don't even know the percentages. Maybe it's a low percentage. But to me, it's bad enough that there's enough people out there to recognize that this is a problem, that this kind of thing happens, that it just turns me off completely. Because there are better things to gauge your worth on in life than money, as far as I'm concerned. Money is a construct. It's something we created. So if you're saying, what makes a person a good person? How much money do they have?
Do people say that? I mean, I know that some people do, but I feel like practically,
maybe I shouldn't say.
Are doing that.
Maybe I shouldn't say good. That's not the way to phrase it. But it's like the value of a person. It's like not everyone is doing it. No, but there's enough people that you encounter, and I base this on meeting people. And a lot of the times the question is, and I'm going to separate it here. What do you do for a living? That's an easy question to ask someone. But I find that people like to compare jobs. There's prestige that comes with jobs. And then the money that's also tied to jobs. And people do like to use that as a way to separate themselves from other people. Well, my job pays me more, and it's a little more prestigious.
Yeah, I have a cousin who works at a Euro wrap in Athens. And I think he's worked there forever. He's like in his 40s. And I know, I think my mom in the past has sort of judged it, saying, and he has a family, he has a wife and family, and it seems like he should be doing something else, you know, or he's a really talented artist too. Like he's an illustrator and he makes comics, but he doesn't show them to anybody. He keeps them for himself or he keeps them for his friends, his family. And it feels like you should be saying to him, why don't you go back to school and get a degree and get a better job and get a higher paying job and then maybe do something with your art and whatever. And I've talked to him about that before, and I think that he really like snapped me back into reality a little bit, reality by saying, what's your definition of success? You know, it just depends on what you feel is success. You know, for him, his goal was not to make money off of his work or his art, you know. He just wanted an easy job that he could, you know, turn on and turn off whenever he, you know, like when he was done with work, he left, he was gone. He didn't have to think about it or do anything or answer an email. And he, I don't know, hung out with his family and lived his life. And
I think that's a great way to live.
Yeah. I think he's a real inspiration, honestly, in a lot of ways, especially if you have a wife that's supportive of that and a family that's not like, his family's not in the gutter because he's not getting a job. Things are fine. And that's just what he's doing. And that's fine too.
Yeah. If his responsibilities are met.
But if he's 40 something years old and you ask him, what do you do for a job? And he says, I work at the Euro wrap. You're like, ooh, hard times.
Yeah. And that's an awful approach that people have. They got to look at if a garbage man, for example, got paid $6 million a year and you said to a person at a party, I'm a garbage man, but wow. What? He's a garbage man. Look at this. Wow, he's a garbage man. Even though the job itself is not glamorous and you're picking up people's discarded shit, sometimes literally.
Sure.
The money involved could offset a lot of that. Would it be the job for everyone? Would everyone want to do that? No, probably not. But the money would offset that negative view we have. So if he had the Euro wrap, he was making a lot of money. People went, hard times.
Right.
No, it's not hard times. He's made a choice. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that choice.
No. And he really sort of, you know, that's when I understood. That's when I started thinking about people's success and what it means to be successful or even happy, you know?
Yes, that's a bigger topic.
Yeah. Happiness.
That was one that we threw out there as a possible point of a talking point for this episode. We'll get to happiness at some point, Autumn.
I didn't want to do it because the word penis is in it.
Yeah. Well, you've just ruined that word for me forever.
Happiness.
The same way you ruined walking up the subway stairs for me.
Looking at your butt.
Yeah, when Autumn was in New York, she was walking behind me going up the subway stairs, and you can't help but look at the person's butt in front of you. I've looked at a lot of butts, and I've thought to myself, that person better not fart right now in my face. And somewhere over the course of history, many, many times, I'm sure people have farted in other people's faces, which is just wait until you get to the top of the stairs at least.
Oh, I can't.
If you're going to do it in a public space.
Do it without someone's face underneath you.
Yeah, but Autumn was looking at my butt and thought, that's where his poop comes out. And yes, that's very
true.
You
asked me, right? You're like, were you looking at my butt? I thought you turned around and you asked me.
I probably did ask you, but now I just...
yeah, honestly, I thought about that's where your poop comes
now
from.
You've taken it to the next level for me, where I just think about people pooping instead of farting, which is worse.
I like to think sometimes about celebrities, big-time celebrities, just sitting and pooping, what it's like.
Same.
And then they wipe, and then like a piece of toilet, like it flies out instead of goes down, and they have to pick up their poopy toilet paper off the ground, and then they tell their maid.
Except if they're rich, and there are toilets like this, the people who are able to afford the really expensive apartments in New York, and you're high up in a high rise, so no one can see in your window. I mean, the toilet looks out a glass window, the full like ceiling to floor window, and you're looking out over the city as you're taking a dump. How's that for money getting you power, and you're up still? I'm above all of you.
I'm shitting on all of you.
I'm shitting above all of you.
That's weird to think about a toilet on like the 100-something floor, and all of that has to go down.
I think about if
down.
If buildings in New York were transparent and you could see the pipes, just the amount of human waste that would be streaming down constantly.
Yeah. Gross.
From all these buildings, because there's so many people. There's so much, and it would just be streaming down. And, I'm sure someone does get off. I'm going to keep prefacing this because, for the sake of the show and my point, I think the most interesting angle is going after the people who would get off on the idea of shitting above the rest of the city. Mm-hmm. Again, I know there's not, that may not be the majority of people, but a few people can ruin everything. World peace, for example, never going to happen because all it takes is one person to say, I don't want that. And they can ruin world peace.
Yep, it's not in the world.
It takes everyone to be on board with it to have peace. It takes one person to ruin it.
I can't stop thinking about being surrounded by buildings in New York and thinking about all the pipes and like all of the poop that's coming down.
Yeah, well,
like it's raining poop inside all around you.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Or when I'm on the subway and it's packed, I think of all the poop in people's bodies. Just everywhere.
You got me thinking about in public pools or just in pools with people and all the water that's passing over everyone's buttholes and you're swimming in it.
Yeah, that's why there's chlorine. But yes, It's going up. It's washing up into the butt. It's coming out.
Yeah.
And then you're swimming through it. And
you open your eyes and you open your mouth and you spit it out.
Yeah. It's the great equalizer, death and shitting. You can be as rich as I don't know. I was gonna.
God.
Is God rich? God's rich in different ways. Yeah, but
so I wrote this down. How do you personally feel about your money and maybe making money? Because before we started, you even said like, I need money.
Yeah, of course. It's a necessary thing. We need money to survive. So what was the question again? How do I feel about it?
Yeah, like how do you feel about personally making more money or the money you have?
So when I moved to New York and I was working in radio, I was doing weekends on WRXP, which was a rock station up here, and I needed something to fill up my weekdays. So I got this promotions coordinator gig, which I hated, a week in. I thought, oh my God, this is my life. I want to kill myself. It didn't pay a lot.
What did you have to do that you hated?
I just didn't. It was a desk job. And
Yeah.
I promotions. I had no interest in promotions. I had just come to New York with no job, and I wanted to work. And so I took that job, which paid me $30,000 a year,
Woo!
which being on the air 2 days a week doubled that. That was the only reason. I don't know how someone takes that job. That's another thing. I understand companies have bottom lines that they need to meet. And you put a $30,000 a year job out there, someone is going to take it because people in New York, there's so many people and people need jobs. But from the company's end, that's crap. Nobody can live on that. Mm-hmm. I don't know how someone did. The person who ended up getting the job after I quit it, I think lived in New Jersey. But even the commuting costs,
Well, they probably have roommates, right?
I just think there's some responsibility. Again, the argument against it is, well, people don't have to take that job. You don't have to take that job. Yeah, I understand that. But the company knows somebody will take that job. And again, it's their choice. They can do whatever they want. I just think that if I were running a company, I would try to be fair about these things. Anyway, going back to your question. At some point, because I was a manager, they had this manager training where you had to take like a personality test, and they told you your management style, and it was color coded. There was a red and a blue and a yellow and a green, and I was a green. I was the only green, which was like, oh, you care about your employees. That's really what it boiled down to. You
Really?
recognize.
What were the other ones? Do you remember?
You recognize that they're human, and you take that into account in your management style. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember exactly what the other ones
Red
were.
was like a tyrant.
I probably have that assessment somewhere, but I don't know if I feel like ripping apart my apartment during our recording to look for it. I think it may be in the drawer to my left, but You know,
A real-time search of your drawer.
in a minute, if you have something to talk about, I'll just go look quickly. Okay. But so in this management training, there was this other thing where they put up 4 easels in each corner of the room, and it had different salaries, and you know, a $500,000 a year salary, or a $40,000 a year salary, I think was the lowest, and then ones in between. And they had us get up and go stand by the easel that represents what you know, the job, the salary you'd like. Of course, people go to the biggest one, and I went to the $40,000 a year one.
Yeah.
And they asked why. I said, that job over there is probably some job I don't want, that's, you know, requires a lot of responsibility that I don't want to deal with. And it's like, this is my mind, this $40,000 a year is a freelance thing. I'm freelancing, I'm doing something I want, I'm making enough money to survive. In New York, 40,000 is enough, but you know, for the sake of this exercise, I looked the other way. I said, this is what I want. And then one person actually said, oh yeah, I think you're right, and they came over to the easel. So that's been my view on money. It's like, if I had
his personality test turned into follower. It was right.
If I had a family, I would take it very seriously to make enough money and provide for the family and make sure we are all right. I don't want anyone to struggle, but I also don't need to live extravagantly. I like to think that if I were rich, I would upgrade my apartment. Surely I'd get a bigger apartment, but I don't need some huge place. I don't need a mansion somewhere. I don't need some overly expensive car. And you said earlier, you know, in reference to the other show that we can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was video games. Go listen to video games.
Yeah, it was probably video games.
How you're always you, though. You're still you, right? No matter what situation you're in. I do think if you get a lot of money, it can change you. And for whatever reasons, if it's a boost to your ego, or if it's because you have to protect yourself because now you do have money and all these leeches come out, whatever it is, I think it can change you. But I like to think if I had a lot of money, I would still live relatively modestly. I'd upgrade my life. I'm not going to lie and pretend I wouldn't make it better. Mm-hmm. But I don't need things that are status symbols to show other people that I have.
Right.
I'd get a bigger apartment. I still don't even think I would get a car. I don't think I would buy a car. But if
Oh, no. It's a lot more trouble.
Yeah, to deal with here in New York. But I would have the money to put in a garage, I guess. But it's like, I don't care. There's no reason for me to have a car here. If I needed one, I could rent a car. If I were rich, if I needed to get out of the city.
And it would be easy to do because you wouldn't have to think about whether you could afford it or not. You could just do it.
Yeah, and at that point, the only reason to have a car is to show off. And I have zero desire to do that. And I would give my money away to people. Not all of it. I would keep enough to survive. Jeff Bezos, for example, personal wealth, not Amazon wealth. It changes a lot because there's so much money involved and it's fluctuating. But it's like $170 billion. And it's his money. He can do whatever the hell he wants with it. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm thinking that he's wrong because I have my personal beliefs of if I were him, what I would do with the money. But, you know, objectively, whatever. Do whatever you want with it. $170 billion. I could keep $10 billion for myself. Still be fine for the rest of my life. And anything I ever wanted to do, I could do. And I would like... Again, maybe I change into an asshole if I get rich. If I got that rich. But I would like to...
Does Jeff Bezos have a family?
Yeah, he just got... I don't know about his kids' situation or anything. He just got divorced, remember? Because...
Oh, that's right.
He was cheating.
Because you would need to put away money for them, make sure... Like, you want to make sure that they're set up. But
okay,
then
give each of them $1 billion. All right, just keep $20 billion. And then you got, what, $150 billion.
I guess you could even keep 30. Like, if you have 2 kids, $30 billion.
You could just do...
10 for each of us.
You could do a lot of good in the world. Whatever your cause is, you could do so much. And then people that were close to me, you know, I would give money to. I understand that opens the door and floodgates could possibly open and you got a stream of people coming in expecting things. Well, where do you draw the line? Why'd you give this person money and I would be next in line, but you drew the line with me? I get all that. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's that simple, but I would figure out some kind of plan. I don't know. I don't think I would change too much. What would you do? What would you, if you had unlimited money?
Yeah.
How would you change your life?
I think, like you said, I would. Okay. I would. It would mostly go to the kids at first. I would put Ellie in classes that she wants to take that we can't afford to put her in, like like ballet or karate or swimming or something. And probably just upgrade things, like buy something that I've been wanting to, but I haven't wanted to pull the trigger on it. I would do a lot of saving. I would not, if I had, like $170 billion, eventually down the line, it would be giving it away, but a lot of it would just be save it. I just want to save it. Like a crab pulling in things, like save.
Like a squirrel burying its acorns.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to bury the acorns. Maybe I was a squirrel.
I like the idea of having billions of dollars, but burying it in the yard because
I'd bury it all around the country, and people would have to find it, like in Legend of Zelda, the Super Nintendo, and everybody
instead of
to dig around. Yeah. Maybe you'll find it. Hey, slash open this bush. Maybe you'll find some money there.
Instead of old Folgers cans, though, you just bury shipping containers filled with money because there's so much of it. It's like, what's this?
So it's like people drilling for oil or silver or something.
They just, that's Greg's shipping container.
That's right.
Filled with cash.
I would want to stay in this house because I love this house. I don't want to move. I mean, maybe if I had $1 billion, I would try and find a place. I guess we could buy it. I don't know. I like where we live. I feel the same way. Like, I wouldn't want to do something crazy and live in some sort of mansion or whatever. I'd like get a housekeeper that doesn't live here or anything, but just like comes once a week and cleans the house. Yeah. So I don't have to do it. I don't know, stuff like that. Just convenience things, making things easier, replacing furniture that's like scratched up, that kind of thing. Nothing crazy though. I mean, what
ultimately does happen, and I see how it could run out of control, is when you do start making more money, your lifestyle does adjust. In New York, the gains are still modest, but the last job that I had, that I recently was let go from, they were paying me $90,000 a year, and then I would do some side things and made another, I don't know, $15,000. It was more money than I ever thought I'd make in my life because the pursuit of money wasn't that important to me. And it suddenly was like, whoa, I'm making like $100,000, a little bit more a year. I never even thought I'd get to this point. And so you've seen my apartment. It's not huge by any means. And it's also very cheap for the neighborhood. I pay $1,800 a month for my apartment when, apartments this size in this neighborhood go for $22,000.
Wow,
so
really?
It's insane. I don't know where the money in New York comes from, like how everyone has enough to survive.
Yeah.
So, I adjusted my life from a $12,000 a month rent to an $1,800 a month rent.
Which isn't that big of a difference.
No, but,
I mean, it's a lot a month, but it's still not a crazy, it's not like the difference between 12 and 1,800 in other places is drastic.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about what?
You're not living in there's not like a person down at the bottom. What is that called? A doorman or anything.
Oh, no. It's still
you don't have amenities.
It's just a brownstone walk up.
Yeah.
No, but so you adjust, and then that money is kind of spent. Sure, I saved more money than I was able to in the past, too, which came to help me out when I lost my job and I was still worried. But the moment you don't have an income, it is worrisome.
Yeah.
But I also could have survived 6 months if I had zero money coming in. And I ended up going like a month with no income. And then I'm freelancing and I'm making, it's different because it's not a salary. So I have to work. If I don't work a day, I don't get paid. But
right.
It's fine. And I think this is the way I want to go. Because to me, the guaranteed money isn't as important than the freedom to work on other things. And I do think, we talk about this show and how we're not trying to make money on this show. And I think that's important at this point because the show isn't being done, as far as I'm concerned, to make money. If some point we made money doing the show we wanted to do, I'm happy with that. Right. But if you get people like Patreon coming in, which is a big thing with podcasts, people pay for the show and then you have perks that you want to give them and you want to pay. I just think it alters things. It can't exist as organically as it does now with us doing it.
I think that if we ever get a Patreon page, it would be something really simple that you would get. You know what I mean? It would be like a pin, a sticker, a little bit of something.
And thank you for supporting the show.
Right.
And the show's going to continue to be what it is. Creative endeavors, when money is involved, if you do something creative organically and it catches on, then it can exist as the way you created it. But ultimately what happens is anything that's new or creative that comes out, if it's popular, you get the spin-offs, you got the rip-offs, you got the imitators, and then that idea is hijacked and marketed and monetized. And apparently the only value to be found in creativity is money, meaning a lot of people view it that way. And I don't buy into that for a
Like
second.
if you're doing something creative, it needs to lead to money.
Yeah, I don't buy into that. It would be nice
Yeah.
if like this show took off somehow and we made a living doing it. That would be great. But it's also, we're still doing the show that we wanted to do.
Right.
And that to me is more important. So I'd rather just keep doing the show.
We have a mattress sponsor, and now we're not allowed to talk about any other mattresses, or we'll lose that mattress sponsor.
Yeah, and I don't like the mattress that's sponsoring
But
us.
you have to pretend like you love it.
Yeah, so I just sleep on the ground because they actually send people out to check to make sure the mattress. So it's just a pallet on the ground. It's like, what's that?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's where I sleep. It's a little sleeping bag on the hardwood floor. But I get something out of doing this. We do shows, and there's ups and downs. Sometimes I don't feel so great about the show, and other times I feel really good. But, that's still feeling. That's like, even if it's bad, it's like, oh, wow, I'm doing something I care about, though.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of value in that.
I do too.
So,
Not monetary value.
well, if someone rich listening wants to throw us a bunch of money, if you want to be nice, altruistic, like I
Yeah.
would be if I were rich, then sure. Send us the
Jeff
money.
Bezos, are you listening?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos. We just need $500 million to fund the show. That's nothing
That's
to
it.
you.
That's nothing.
Just-
You have billions.
Yeah, it's your money. Sure, do whatever you want with it. I do. Like I buy into that. I do want people to just do whatever they want.
Right.
I'm just a person who thinks that helping other people, again, there's value in that. And if I had the money to do it, I would give people money. I would just go walk around throwing it. You walking through the park and then you catch on. People know you're the guy who just throws out money, and the people just follow you around constantly.
Yeah, see, that's where it's bad. That's like being a celebrity, and you have to give a piece of yourself to everyone, because if you're an asshole, because you're in a bad mood, like they'll have that story to tell about you forever, right? So if you're someone who throws out money, you have to always be able to throw out money, or you're the asshole.
Well, and that's the flip side to it. I was like, I would never, if that guy existed, I wouldn't follow him around. I don't feel entitled to take other people's money. If someone wanted to give it to me and gift it to me, I think it'd still be hard, but I could be appreciative of it and say thank you very much. But there is the other side. It's like the entitlements. Like I shouldn't have to try to make money or work. And that's not to be confused with social programs like unemployment. I took unemployment. I didn't feel any shame. There's people who look at that and think you're lesser of a person because I was collecting unemployment, which was also $400 a week, which is not enough to, and it shouldn't be enough to keep your lifestyle. It's there just to keep you from completely sinking. And
Right.
I used it, and I'm glad that there's safety nets like that exist. And I would fight for those. Welfare, food stamps. I don't mind any of that stuff. Are there people that abuse it? Yes.
And so you're lumped into that group of people.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain people who look at it that way, like you're
Right.
lesser of a person. Like the guy, your friends. Like, what's he doing? And he's working at the Eurowrap.
Eurowrap. Yeah, why are you collecting that? I mean, you do, even from a practical standpoint, you pay into it. So why not use it if you need it?
Yeah, it's there. There's some people who won't use it, though, and that's
Yeah.
their choice.
That's their choice.
But because you choose not to use it doesn't mean that it shouldn't exist for other people. To be used the way it was intended to be used.
right.
It was nice. It was just a mental thing. I was like, wow, at least I have $400 a week coming in right now, so that helps, alleviate some of the stress.
Right. That's something. I agree. I'm sure that there are things that people abuse anything. And even the way that people react to money is really just a human sort of survival instinct, right? Like the reason why we get fat, is because we need to strike while the iron's hot. We need to do things while things are available. So that's why we overeat, because our brains are still cavemen, cave people. And it's the same way with money. If that guy's giving away money, I better get some, because I don't want to be the person who doesn't get it, because I need to survive when you don't really need it, and then people who want to take advantage of a system like welfare or food stamps, or they want to, not respect it for what it should be. They're just doing that because it's human nature. The other part of of being a human is that we do have a conscience, and that you have to, and you do sort of make have an ethics that you might follow or principle, and you have to tap into that, because it's real easy to just take because it's survival. It's what's probably ingrained in us. The IRS, I had paid our Maryland taxes. It was like $1,200. I paid it way before February. No, April. Sorry, April, before it was due. And just a month or whatever ago, it was taken out again on accident. And it like took out, I was overdrawn everywhere. Things were trying to be pulled like automatic with, payments of things, and those were getting bounced, and I was getting all these things. And I called the state taxes people, whoever, comptroller, and they were telling me like, oh yeah, it was our mistake, their mistake, and that they would send us a check. And I said, okay, well, how long will that be? And they said, oh, it'll be like a couple weeks. Well, I just got it the other day. This was months ago. And maybe it was a month ago. Either way, it was a long time. So if I had to wait for that, I'd have been in some real trouble. But we ended up calling the bank, and they just canceled that check. They said they sent a non-payment to the check. So I got the money back. Well, in the meantime, I get the new check from Maryland, and I am, it's everything I can it was everything I could when I first got it, not to cash that check. And be like, extra $1,200. What's going to happen? Maybe they'll forget. I don't know. Maybe it'll just slip through the cracks and I'll get an extra $1,200. So I took it to the bank, and I was like, listen, this is the situation. I go to the check. If I cashed it, what would happen? Like, where is this money? Who's out this money? Is it SunTrust? Right? Is it the bank? Or is it Maryland? Like, is Maryland going to realize it's gone, or is SunTrust? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know where.
What, are you drawing a distinction? It's not right to take it from the big bank, but from the state it is. I would take it from either. Just
more like, is SunTrust going after Maryland for the money, or will they come after me for it? Because they had to stop payment on I don't know. So I just didn't know. And they were like, well, I said, I think ethically I shouldn't cash it. She was like, probably should go with maybe just wait a couple months and see if, I don't know. I said, okay. But I know the right answer. The right answer is not to cash it.
Well,
it's not mine. I already got the money back.
You're talking about survival and how it's built into us as humans to,
take advantage.
Look, I can become very stingy with my money because I want to save. I don't live in a constant fear, but I know the reality of things, and especially the line of work I got into, that at some point I could be out of a job. And that goes to extremes sometimes, meaning I have money to spend. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to spend this, and I'll throw it into my savings account, which isn't even that much money. It's not like I have a lot, but I think that's part of the reason. It's like, if something happens, I want to have money to be able to survive. And, that something did happen.
Right.
And I felt better that I had that money. But while I'm living in the moment, employed, I should probably spend a little bit more of the money, not be so stingy with it, go out, have a good time with some of it, spend it on other people in instances on little things. Like, I'm going to restaurants. I've brought this story up before, but there's a place like across the street from me, and there's the discrepancy in two dishes, a chicken and rice dish and a shrimp and rice dish. And the shrimp is, what is it? I think it's $16 where the chicken is $9, so a discrepancy of $7. But it's like that I know shrimp's more expensive, but that I refuse to pay
too
that.
Much.
And this is, I created this big deal. Bring my girlfriend there. I'm going to get you dinner tonight. She decides she wants the shrimp. I can't bring myself to buy the shrimp because there's some kind of principle that I need to uphold. It's like, how dare you with this discrepancy? You're trying to rip us off. Fuck you. You're not getting my money. I'm not going to pay that. I should have just paid the money. Like,
yeah.
And who cares?
Because you'll blow $7 on anything.
It doesn't matter.
$7 is easy to throw away.
That's ridiculous. But in other instances, and I'm
buy like $7 worth of seltzer water down at the bodega.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah.
Probably $20 a day in seltzer.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I was going to bring this up, and I'm not. It's just a weird thing to bring up because I'm not trying to gain any favor points. But when IRS. Was it the IRS or was it the state? The state for
It was
you.
the state.
Like when you thought you were out double the amount of money, I would have given you the money. Like I didn't. I was like, all right, well, this is what it's here for. This person's in some kind of possibly financial trouble for a temporary amount of time.
Yeah. It was only temporary.
And I will, like I didn't care about that. But $7 in shrimp, I'm not doing this. I refuse to. Because it's more than the money at that point. It's the idea, this whole narrative of the greedy person sitting in the back who's pricing this. I want as much money as possible. Give me all the money. And the shrimp is going to... you're not,
the shrimp cost $3 more, but let's charge $7.
And you're not getting that from me, you son of a bitch. That's not happening. You're not going to...
So what happened at that dinner?
She ended up paying for herself to get the shrimp.
So when she ordered... Okay, did you know that she was going to order the shrimp ahead of time and then...
No, I said, let's go out and get dinner. I got you tonight.
Right, so I mean, you guys are sitting down. The waiter's asking what you'll have. You see the chicken,
so
rice.
the setup for this place, it's a place that's got a large outdoor area, and you order, and there's a food truck actually parked in the outdoor area, and then so your number's called you. So there's no waiter.
Okay.
So there's a menu, and before you go to the register and order, that's the way it works. But yes, I'm looking at the menu, and it's like, I really want the shrimp. I was like, oh, the chicken. Look at the chicken. That's a much. So
she said, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah. What an asshole.
No,
No, look, and this is something that I looked at and I've explored. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? That's something in therapy that came up, and that I'm looking at the motivations behind that, and I don't think that's acceptable behavior. I don't, by any means. But I think this all started. You were talking about, human nature and the need to survive or collect as much as you can, or it is like a squirrel with the acorns, and you bury the acorns for a later time. Because the winter could be harsh, and you want to live.
Right.
But the flip side of being a human is you're also aware, and you can make decisions that go against what your instinct is.
Right.
And choices are to be made at times. I don't have a specific example now, but if your behavior is like my behavior in the shrimp, you can make the choice. Like, no, I'm gonna go the other way with this one, and I think that is important. And I said earlier that money is. It's a construct. It's something we created to help us in life. I mean, yes, we need to have a system in place to get services and goods. And again, I don't know of any better way. Honestly, I've never thought about it, and I don't really think there is something that is better. But if you're putting so much value in worth into money, think about that. It's a construct. And if you take it away, take it away, it means nothing. So the person who's got all this money, their value is gone suddenly.
Right. I think about that when the apocalypse will happen, right? And that money, who cares if you have money?
Yeah.
It won't matter. It matters about what you have to, like you said, trade with someone or offer someone.
Well, even outside of that, it's like, what are the important things? What are the things that exist outside of this system that we've built? And I think they're personality traits or traits of being a human, like empathy and compassion. This comes up all the time on the show, but it's because it's important to me. Intelligence, not everyone, that is something that is somewhat, you're born with at least the capacity to be intelligent, right? So it's not a fair thing. I'm not putting down people who aren't as intelligent, but that's an important thing as far as I'm concerned. It's something I value. I guess it doesn't demean, it shouldn't devalue another person if they're dumb. Well, it depends on what kind of dumb they are.
Yeah.
If they're just dumb because they're not taking the time to learn about the world around them, and they're not curious and they don't want to explore, all right, then I'm going to judge you for that. But if you're just born with a low IQ, it's like, nothing you can do about that.
Right.
But these traits, like, yes, again, compassion, love, these are things that are there, and I think that the value of this is lost quite often for this culture of consumerism and collection of value and money and the power that comes along with it. And that's really the foundation of my negativity towards this topic.
I thought of something that kind of bothered me that I think we've talked about it before, where, if I could make $200,000 a year, then I would move wherever. Right? Like, I love where we live now. I love that Ellie's going to walk to school. I love the community. I love how, I love where I'm living. But if I were going to make $200,000 a year, that'd be like, I guess, the start of where I would sort of say, well, my happiness here isn't as important as making that much money. And that bothers me a little bit that I would do that. But I feel like it would be beneficial overall more than just staying here, you know?
What bothers you about that?
That I have a price, I guess. That sounds dramatic. I guess I mean
Everyone's got a price on them.
yeah. That I guess I could be bought away from something that I really like.
But do you not think there could be something that you like even more out there?
What do you mean?
Well, you're saying there's a price. You could be bought, move away, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you not think there's another place that possibly out of your reach right now that could be a little bit better?
So you mean like if I moved, maybe I would be happier?
Yeah, I mean,
even if I am being purchased?
What I'm getting at is you wouldn't, if you had the money, you wouldn't move just for the sake of it, just to get some big house and show off, right? You're not doing that. But there could be a living situation out there that is better than the one you're in now, even though you really like the one that you're in now. So if you found that and it was accessible to you because you made more money, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the intentions behind it are the important part.
Right. Because I'm not trying to like gain power or anything.
No, we're just like, I'm going to go get this McMansion because I can. And it's just, everyone will drive by and it's like, I wonder who lives in that giant house.
I don't want a gigantic house. I don't understand people who do.
I think they're scary. You don't know where someone's hiding in those.
Or if you lose something. We moved from, a tiny apartment in Atlanta to a smallish apartment in Laurel and to like kind of big house, like a townhome here. And sometimes when I lose something, I'm like, it could be anywhere. Like, I don't know. But when we were in Atlanta, it was like, it has to be in these 2 rooms.
You still lose it in those small rooms. I misplace my keys all the time. I should just put them on. I was hanging them at one point on the coat hanger right inside the door. And it's like, I know where they are. But my apartment's so small. And it's where the hell are the keys?
Right. They have to be here.
So yeah, in a mansion, you're exactly right. How many rooms
they
do you
could
have to
be
search?
Anywhere.
I always think of too, if someone is in the home, they could hide. I come home.
For days they could hide. They could avoid you for days.
Yeah, they could just live there. Like they mean no harm to you.
Right.
They're just there living and you have no clue.
Yeah.
And right now it's very cozy. I come in, I was like, all right, well, if someone's in here, where are they hiding? In the closet or in the bathtub? Yep. That is it. They can't even fit under the bed because the bed is lifted and it's filled with boxes underneath because I have no storage. So, yeah, it's like, all right, no one's in here.
Right. You know that.
Hey,
for sure.
Your mansion. Could you go to sleep? Because you're not searching the whole house every night.
Think about people with just gigantic bedrooms. Right? Like huge bedrooms.
Yeah. I guess.
Like as big as the top floor of an apartment. Right? It's like huge.
I assume you adjust to that. I know what you're getting at with it, like having a small.
And then you forget something downstairs in the kitchen. Fuck, I forgot my phone. You got like a half a mile. You have to set up base camp halfway down to the kitchen.
Yeah, but those people driving by, they see that giant house. They say, who lives there? That person's well-to-do.
So we have our richest friend lives in a gigantic like house where you drive by and you're like, wow, who lives there? And his kids are in college and he's like, we got to get out of here. It's way too big.
Well, good. They'll move.
Yeah. He's our richest friend.
How many rooms are in that house?
I don't know.
How many bathrooms?
Well, I've only seen one, but it has a bidet in it.
Yeah.
But they're Indian, so I think that makes sense.
To have a bidet if they're still cleaning their butts traditionally.
Yeah.
It all comes. Yes. We've Tokyo. The bidet as a separate device. It's fine. I think that adopting that for cleaning after going to the bathroom is still a good thing to do. But in Japan, the washlet where you just stay on the toilet and the arm comes out and the water sprayed up at an angle so it doesn't fall back on the arm so the arm stays clean. You walk around with a pep in your step. I've never felt cleaner.
It's the best.
It doubles up. They have toilet paper there also.
Yeah, because you can dry it, pat it down.
Yeah, you got to dry it. But you use less toilet paper at that point.
I totally understand why people think we're disgusting, like Americans are dirty.
I mean, that's most of...
It's like some other cultures not wearing deodorant, but at least they're assholes. squeaky clean.
Well, you said your friends are Indian. They use their hand. That's the big thing.
What do you mean they use their hand?
To clean. Like,
Oh,
there's
well.
a bidet, but there isn't. So, I mean, toilet paper I would choose over using my hand.
Okay, when I used the bidet for the first time and fell in love in Spain, I went to the bathroom and I wiped, and then I sat on the bidet and I used my hand. And then I washed my hand.
I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean,
Because
that's
I don't use the washcloth in the shower or anything. I use my hand.
You just
So
use
what's
your
the
hand.
difference?
Yeah, I use the what's the puffy thing?
Oh, the loofah.
I use that and then I scald it. I was like, I just touched my butt. Why is a show about money focused so much on defecation?
Well, we've been a real butt-centric episode.
Are you gonna start making butt puns? Don't do
Butt
that.
puns.
No, I think we focused on that too much. I mean, it's a point of
We don't want to get too cheeky.
what else? Do you have anything other thoughts? Let's wrap this up. Any other thoughts that you want to get out there on money? I've said my piece. I'm
No, I
finished.
think that's it.
All right, then wrap us up.
That was one topic. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate and review us on iTunes. Review us. Everyone has been so that we've gotten a couple new ratings, and that's been very exciting. Greg sends me text 91. But
There's too much excitement tied to that. But yes,
yeah, we like the ratings, but review us too. Tell us what you think and share us with your friends. Also, the official hot sauce of One Topic, Hoff sauce. You
it's
can get
official
it for
now.
Yep.
Okay.
It's official. You can get 15% off of your order if you go to hoffandpepper.com and use the code OneTopic15. It's the best hot sauce ever. I love it. I can't keep it in my house because I always give it away to people because I want them to have it.
Yeah, you see this? You see the salesmanship? Anyone else listening wants Autumn to do an endorsement? You want to pay her some money? Look how good she is.
Yeah.
It's natural. Just flows.
So yeah, go to hoffandpepper.com. OneTopic15 is our code, and that's it.
Yeah, you've covered it all.
Okay.
So thanks for listening, and we will talk to you whenever we decide to do the next show, which will be next week. Don't worry.
Don't worry.